Does bigger mean better? Hey guys, 𝗬𝗵𝗲 here at Elite Fireworks. That is the question that we are going to answer for you guys today. Now, we are not going to look at just standard or large cakes. Matter of fact, we are going to look at assortments, we are going to look at canisters, and anything and everything in multiple different categories to answer the question, does a bigger fireworks mean a better fireworks? After all, I think that's a very important question that we can answer for you, so that way you can be a savvy and smart shopper. So we are starting off with the two cakes we introduced. So we have Bling Bling and Rager. Now, both brands, we have Bling Bling from Brothers and we have Rager from Black Hat. Two phenomenal brands, but the reason why I am picking this is just to show you guys that sometimes the bigger item is not worth it. And of course, as you can see here, this is Bling Bling. It's a 200-gram cake. Now, something with 200-gram cakes, typically you get a great value for your money because, of course, regulations allow it to be more compact. Now, I specifically picked Bling Bling not only because it's one of the best 200-gram cakes out there, but it has a see-through top. So as you can see here, all the different tubes, they are next to each other. Now, with 350 grams or even 500-gram cakes, that's not the case. So that's why you see bigger cakes that take a lot of room. But the problem with 350-gram or 500-gram cakes is often a lot of retailers will advertise that such item is actually up to 500-gram cake. So for those 350s, you are gonna pay a premium price of 500. Now, one thing that I love about Black Hat, and this is a cheat sheet for you guys, if you shop Black Hat Fireworks anywhere, if it's not up to 500 grams and it's a big cake, for instance like this one, if it doesn't say 500 gram, it is not 500 gram. However though, as I mentioned, a lot of retailers, whenever you're shopping, they are going to charge you the price of a 500 gram. So you really have to be careful because after all, you don't want to pay a premium and think something is much bigger, but because of the size of the cake, you are getting misled. So that's why I wanted to showcase this for you guys, because either way, these are two great cakes, but definitely for the money, I would pick Bling Bling. Moving on to a bigger cake, but this time we are actually going to compare up to 500-gram cakes versus one another. But of course, one is going to be much bigger size and one is going to be much smaller. So the bigger cake right here that we have is Rush Hour, which is 100 shots, 3 minutes. Now, the big key here, as you can see, it's up to 500 gram, guys, because after all, that is the legal limitation whenever you're purchasing fireworks. So it doesn't matter if it is 2 feet long or it is very compact like the cake we are going to show you very soon. 500 gram is 500 gram, and that is the limit. Key lesson that I want you to take from this is typically, you want to stay from outliers, and in my opinion, Rush Hour is here for a specific buyer. If you want something that a lot of shots, long duration, great. But for most cases, you are better off getting something in between. Now, price point wise, we have it on special right now for $77.04. Normal price is 88 bucks. So it's a pretty pricey cake, but again, you are getting 3 minutes of fun. So maybe you can justify it. The next cake that we have here for comparison, it's another up to 500 gram cake, but this is significantly smaller. Now, of course, I've shown this product in our video, and right now until May 31st, we have it for $89.43 for a case. Now, the case actually has 6 inside of it. Normal price even for the case is $106, which is still a very good deal. But basically, you are paying around just under $15 a unit with a case, or you can pick up one of these before May 31st for $22 a unit. Now, I have put them next to each other so you can actually see how much smaller one is versus the other one. The key here is 500 gram is 500 gram. Now, size-wise, as you can see, this one is at least 3 times bigger if we were to count all of the mass. So I think, in my opinion, not only price point, you're going to be better off getting a case of Droid Fighter because you're getting 6 cakes. Duration wise with Droid Fighter, it is going to be 27 seconds. So if you get 6 of them, that's actually going to be close to 3 minutes. Rather than you're getting 3 minutes of only 500 gram, you are basically getting 3 minutes of up to 3,000 grams. So definitely you're going to have much bigger explosions. Now we are moving on to mortars. Of course, if you guys have been here at the 𝗲𝗚 Fireworks, you do know that we have significant amount of mortars, but does a bigger size mortar, for instance, does a 6-inch mortar, is it gonna guarantee you a better show than a 4-inch or a 5-inch mortar? Obviously in our store, we do have some up to 7-inch mortars. So if you can see right here, we have Full Speed by Brothers. This is 7-inch. But there's nowadays even 8-inch mortars. Now, will an 8-inch mortar be better than a 4-inch mortar or a 5-inch mortar? The short answer, guys, is absolutely not. Now, where does it make sense, for instance, a bigger mortar in size than a smaller mortar? That is, for the most part nowadays, whenever you're shooting a 4-inch or 5-inch mortar, typically those are going to be single breaks. It's not always the case. There's many variables, but nowadays 4 to 5-inch typically are single breaks. A lot of 6-inch are going to be double break. 7-inch typically you are going to have some triple breaks, and now a lot of what's coming out there as 8-inch are quad breaks. Now guys, similar to cakes that I told you, the limitation is 500 gram. So let me ask you the same thing. If you were to shoot them side by side and you had a 60-gram single shot, or you had an 8-inch quad shot or a 7-inch triple shots, quick math, you are basically averaging it up to 20 grams a shot. So definitely a lot of mortars that are single breaks are going to be significantly better. Now, don't get me wrong, it can definitely vary. Maybe you do want that multi breaks because you're just shooting 124 pack and you want to have more shots for your money. Then yes, it does make sense for you to get maybe a double break or a triple breaks and so on. However though, often whenever you're shooting fireworks, whether you are shooting many different variety, and typically you might have your mortars for your finale. So now with this one specifically, like I said, there are different varieties. So there's some 6-inch mortars. For instance, I know with Tiger Forge, we'll have 6-inch, but it is not double breaks. So there's definitely exceptions, but nowadays the industry standard seems like they're going with 6-inch equals double, 7 is triple, and so on. But anyway, guys, let's move on to another section. So we are exploring Roman candles, or as we like to call them here at the 𝗲𝗚 Fireworks, barrage candles. Now, does a bigger barrage candle, such as the extra large ones that we have on this side, mean that they are better than the large or the standard size? Well, it all depends, guys. Now, if you want big shots, no. Typically, a lot of the bigger extra large candles, for instance, if they have a bunch of shots, think about it. Same thing, that there's legal limitation on how much powder you can put on each type of fireworks. So if you're going to have 140 shots, most likely you're going to have a lot of small shots. If you're going to have 280 shots, such as the mini blast, you are going to get a lot of mini shots. Now, don't get me wrong, it all depends on how you are using the show. So because with like anything, for instance, let's say you were to take advantage and get our box kit of the US Valor candle, which you're averaging around 10 bucks a unit when you get a case. So 15 of them for under 150, that's a good price. If you're lighting them in a show altogether, oh, it's going to be very phenomenal. However though, most of the time Roman candles, you light them one at a time. It's not like cakes where you typically fuse them together. So you might be better off looking at something where you're going to get some nice bigger reports. And in my opinion, the large Roman candles typically are better in performance than the extra large, because the extra large typically you don't get that much breaks. So for instance, something like the boom cannon, you get pony effects, brocade, strobes, and so on. This is a very phenomenal product and I highly recommend it. We are moving on to my favorite section here at 𝗲𝗚 Fireworks, and I'm being sarcastic because I'm not a big fan of packages, and for a long time, guys, I do tell you guys typically that when it comes to packages, the bigger they get, the worse they are. There's some exceptions. So for instance, the one exception that we have, and a lot of fireworks stores have, the Max. The Max, it's a very good assortment. Brothers in general, they make some very nice packages, but the biggest flaw with the Max is where you shop and how much it is. Because after all, for instance, here at the 𝗲𝗚, we sell for $7.69. It is a good price. Maybe you might find it somewhere cheaper. Probably there's places, I'm not saying it's the cheapest, but there's a lot of places that you might find it significantly more expensive. So the biggest problem with the big assortment is the price. And here at Elite, that is a huge problem because we have a case model. So you are actually better off spending the same amount and buying individually by case versus actually picking up an assortment. Now, typically when it comes to assortments, they are a great value if you want to get some of the smaller stuff, but not for your finale. So I've always recommended, and I always will, I do love this assortment right here, the Excellent bag. If you want a lot of the small stuff without taking too much time, highly recommend the Excellent bag. Then here at Elite Fireworks, you are better off picking up your own items. But there you have it, guys. That's pretty much it for this video. Obviously, guys, to just wrap everything up, bigger doesn't always mean better. There's always exceptions, don't get me wrong, but that's typically not the case. My number one recommendation for you guys when shopping fireworks out there, stay away from outliers. If it is a product that lasts too little, if it is a product that lasts too long, if it is a product that's too big, usually there has to be some sort of gimmick there. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in another video right here on our channel. Bye-bye.